Good morning. Welcome to the final Eagle football press conference of 2016. The Eagles wrapped up the season last week with a hard-fought loss over at Staley High School. Finished the season 4-7. Played really well at the very end of the year there, and that was a positive. Open for questions.
Even though you lost, many people feel like it was the best game of the season. What do you think of that?
Well, you know, we've, for whatever reason this year, we've had a hard time with getting all 100 kids or so on the same page at the same time on the same night, willing to play hard-nosed physical football. We had bits and pieces of it throughout the year. Friday night was probably in our 11th game was probably the first game all year where we played with the intensity of a football team that expects to win a game, and so we were very happy that the young men, after week after week after week of trying to muster up that energy, we were very happy that they were able to do that in the last week.
How do you plan on spending your free time now that football is over?
Well, I've got three sons who are all basketball players, and so I'll be driving from one local gym to another every night for the next 4 months, listening to the ball over and over and over. And then I'll come to work here, and I'll walk into the gym, and there'll be kids in there, and I'll go to sleep hearing. That's about it.
Tell me about your green truck, your convertible truck.
Well, I've got two trucks. I've got the Green Iguana, which is an extremely long 4-door truck. That's kind of my man truck. My wife doesn't go into the Green Iguana because it doesn't smell particularly well. It's like the one area in my life where I can leave a mess wherever I want to, and so that's good. And then I've got the red T-Rex, which is the '74 K5 Blazer, and that is the singular thing that I have purchased for myself in 15 years of marriage. So she let me buy that, and so I enjoy it. And she'll get in it, but I don't let her drive it.
It smells okay?
It smells great. I keep it nice and clean. It's my toy.
What's your favorite color and why?
My favorite color. I've always liked green because grass is green. Leaves. I like springtime, fall, summer. I don't like brown.
All right, so back to football for a second. How are you going to go about preparing next year's team differently than you did this year?
That's a good question. I think that one area that we worked really, really hard on the first 5 or 6 years in this football program was building a culture, building a winning culture, and I think that once we established that and we had that going and had it going well each year, I think that we kind of maybe backed off on the attention to detail in terms of the culture and what's expected out of our young men, what's expected out of us as coaches in terms of the way we communicate to one another, in terms of little things like, being places on time, being where your feet are, being focused, understanding why you're at practice, why you're at the meeting, that you're not just killing time, you're there to get better. I think that probably if the greatest criticism I have of myself this year is that I did very little work to establish that culture starting early on in the spring and the summer, and just kind of took it for granted that these young men were gonna behave like the young men the year before, who behaved like the young men the year before, who behaved like the young men the year before. So I didn't pay enough attention to detail in terms of making sure that all of these kids are doing whatever they can to get better every day, remembering that they're just kids and that they are always going to need that focus on a winning culture.
What does your team need to improve on the offense, defense, and special teams for next season?
Just have to go back to what we built the program on, and that's physical football. The running the football, blocking, tackling, disciplined football, some good special teams. That's what wins year after year after year. Every now and then you might get a flash in the pan special guy where you can do a whole bunch of other stuff, but when it comes right down to it, if you want to build a program, you've got to block and tackle. You got to run the ball. You got to stop the run. You got to play mistake free.
During the season, what was your greatest success?
It's a good question. I would say on kind of a spiritual and motivational level, I would say the fact that after 10 disappointing weeks, these kids were able to muster up the energy and the focus and the discipline to go out and battle really hard in week 11. So that is probably the biggest success of the season is seeing that again, after 10 weeks of struggle, they were able to go out and play their best football when it mattered the most.
Describe the family aspect of the team.
Well, any group of people, I kind of have a problem with the idea of family on teams because, teams are voluntary. All right, you choose to join the team. You also can be kicked off of teams. All right, you can be cut from teams. So we don't really explain our program as a family in that regard because it's a little bit more than a family. We've signed up for this. We weren't just born into this. We had a choice whether to do it or not, and then we have a standard whereby which we have to behave and prepare in order to remain a part of it. So we're a team, and from a team we try to have a lot of the same social mores and standards and expectations of each young man. And through the work and the grind and the toil and all the hours and all the time that these guys spend together, hopefully working hard and working towards a common cause, they develop that bond that we could, I guess, use the term family to relate that bond. And that's the hope every year, but it requires a whole lot of sacrifice and hard work and group thought in order for that to happen, and you don't always get that at the level you want it. Thanks for coming. Good luck for the rest of the year doing the rest of your shows. See ya.